What's going on, everybody? Republic Cinema here, and in this video we're going to be doing a bit of a different video as I'm going to be taking a look at my broken Transformers. I figured since I've been working on reviews for the past month or so, it's time I take a break and do a bit of a different video anyways. So that's what we're going to do, but we're only going to be taking a look at the size classes from deluxe to leader class. I'm not going to showcase the kids toys or the smaller Transformers that I have that are broken. But anyways, without further ado, I think we should move on because this one might hurt. These are figures that you probably never knew I had. But anyway, starting off, Beast Hunters TFP Starscream. As you can see, the plastic is a little bent. Also, the arms are wobbly. And I'm missing the legs. I have been for a very long time. But hey, I still have his accessory. Usually I just keep it here. It looks like a pretty good Onslaught accessory, if you know what I mean. But overall, I did think that this figure looked pretty cool. I just kind of wish I kept it complete. I mean, I could always look for one on eBay, but I'm probably not going to do that anytime soon, at least. Hang on, earlier on the video, did I say this thing was warped? It wasn't. I honestly don't know how I did that to his shoulder. Next up is this TFP Bumblebee. I believe this is one of the Beast Hunters Bumblebee. I lost his right arm. The chest broke off, and I still have the other part for his left arm. It's just certain something cracked off to where it doesn't want to stay in there anymore. But you know what I actually did not lose? I did not lose this piece. I feel like I'm missing some more, though. But anyways, if you thought that was a little frustrating, this, however, is worse. Your eyes do not deceive you. This is a TFP Deluxe Class Bumblebee, and one of the better versions of Bumblebee, actually, which, as you can see, was given a proper treatment by 2007 Starscream. I still have the feet, and I still have this part over here. I do not know what happened to this part in specific for this leg. Also, in case you're wondering what this is actually hot glue. I was trying to experiment a little with the hot glue gun to see if I could glue back his legs. Obviously, it did not work. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I'm also missing his other arm. And for one of the guns that I did manage to keep for this figure, one of the barrels broke off. Also, his head is pretty wobbly. I personally think this figure, along with that Starscream that I showed earlier, should be one of the TFP figures I should pick up on eBay sometime. Unless Hasbro ever decides to make Studio Series versions, that would be great. Next is another Starscream, that being the Thrilling 30s Starscream, I believe, which does come mostly complete, only this part is cracked off. I'm also missing one of the missiles for this figure. I do happen to have both of the swords, to my surprise. I consider this figure to be a little broken because he's just a floppy mess. Next on the list is another Thrilling 30s figure, that being Thrilling 30s Elita. I tried unsnapping her head, but I ended up permanently unsnapping her head, if you know what I mean. I don't know what I did with the neck piece, though. Also, as you can see, this part broke off too. And I still happen to have her guns somewhere. I think it's in my accessory bag. I happen to never use it. Perhaps I will if I happen to get another Thrilling 30s Chromia. Next is the Transformers The Last Knight Berserker. This one in particular is complete. It's just both of his hands broke off. And same thing for one of the tabs for the right arm kibble. But in case you're wondering, yes, I did get a replacement. Next is a TLK Barricade. This is the original copy that I had before I got a replacement. As you can see, the port for the left hand broke off, and so did the tabs for the shoulder kibble. Same thing with the slot for the backpack. In case you're wondering where the accessories went, it went to the replacement figure. I kind of stripped off a few parts of this figure to put onto that one. The next figure still hurts me to this day, but it's a broken Transformers The Last Knight Deluxe Class Bumblebee. I remember watching so many videos about that Age of Extinction Deluxe Bumblebee, and I never got him until this one came around, and I was pretty happy to have one. But of course, a few months later, he did break on me. It started off with the slots for the backpack, and then later on this part that goes on one of the arms. I do have the other part, but that one's about to crack off too. I'm sure you already noticed this, but the thumb for the right hand also broke off. Also, this figure's a little wobbly too. Definitely gonna need to look for a replacement on eBay. And then the last broken Transformers Deluxe that I have is a broken Age of Extinction hotshot. The slot for the head cracked off. However, I guess it's not that big of a deal if you just leave the head on the body without moving it at all. But to be honest, what's the fun in that? Some pieces I'm missing for this figure are the heel spurs, one of the 2 pistols that he comes with, and that bigger gun. At one point I had them, and then they totally vanished. You know, coming to think of it, this figure isn't really that broken. All I need to do is just find a replacement head, and voila. However, I am aware that I would have to look for the other parts of this figure that I missed. I'm sure there's somewhere around here. Anyways, moving on to Voyagers. I do actually have a few broken Voyager classes, but I do have 2 of them where I don't know where the bodies are, but I do have the extra parts, especially for Age of Extinction Drift and Age of Extinction Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. But don't worry, I did get a replacement figure for the broken one that I have. As for the Voyager Drift that I had, not yet, at least. Anyways, next is Age of Extinction Galvatron. As you can see, the arms are broken. I mean, you could plug the arms back in, but what's the fun in that too? They're eventually just going to break off. The only reason this one hasn't broken off just yet is because I tried gluing these together. Of course, it didn't necessarily work for one of the arms, but it did for this one. I don't know for how much longer, though. I'm also missing the missile for this one. Now, to be honest, I don't know if I should really get a replacement figure for this broken one that I have, but last I checked, they were pretty cheap on eBay. Next is a broken TLK Voyager Grimlock. As you can see, both the top part of the head Dinobot kibble broke off on my copy. However, I'm still impressed that I kept all the pieces for this figure. I even have his accessory still. But anyways, this is another figure I'm still unsure if I should get a replacement for. I'm sure he also goes on eBay for a rather cheap price. Or I believe that's more like for the Age of Extinction version of this toy. Alright, last one for Voyagers. Dark of the Moon Ironhide. This was one of my very first Transformers that I ever got. I got him as a Christmas gift. I do remember having trouble trying to transform this guy from robot mode to truck mode. If I remember correctly, I never got this figure to transform properly before breaking the chest piece off and losing a few parts. These are also broken as well. And then what other parts you don't see for this figure are completely missing. I don't know where they went. For the record, I did get a replacement for this figure, but it's the G1 repaint. I kind of wish I got this paint variant, but the reason why I got the G1 version is that it was only $20 on eBay, so I saw that as a pretty good steal. Still kind of wish I had this version. Anyways, before I move on to the broken leader classes, I do have just this figure of the Ultimate Optimus Prime, from Dark of the Moon, of course. I originally was just going to get a leader class Optimus Prime 4 parts to fix my original Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime. That's another story. But I ended up getting this guy somehow. However, I did end up using this figure for a video, such as that Battle of the Primes stop motion. Also, as you can see, there's still some remnants of clay that I never wiped off once I was done using this guy for the stop motion. But yeah, crazy stuff. Can't believe that stop motion is turning 5 years old this year. I swear if you ask me for a sequel. Anyways, moving on to the leader class figures that I have that are broken. The Age of Extinction Costco leader class Bumblebee. I am also disappointed that I broke this one. But hey, I still have his legs that broke off. The windshield also broke off too. Both wheels for the front broke off. And somehow his battle mask got crushed. Sweet Primus, Nemesis Prime did a number on you, didn't he? This is basically that scene from Transformers the Last Night where Bumblebee says, "I am Bumblebee, your oldest friend," but he actually dies. Which, to be honest, would have made a little more sense, I guess. Oh wow, that brings back some memories, as I do remember being worried if Bumblebee was gonna die or not in Transformers the Last Night. No, seriously, I legit was worried he was gonna die. But next on this list, you guys are gonna see what my very first Transformer ever was. That, of course, being a broken leader class Nightwatch Optimus Prime. I got this figure at a thrift store for $4, and he was in okay condition. It's just this shoulder pad was cracked off, and he was also missing those 2 other shoulder pads. But I did also notice the smokestacks were cracked off for this figure. There were these other parts for his arms that were missing, and of course I couldn't forget to mention the gun and missile were missing. I'm sure that was the first thing that was missing for this guy. But other than that, he was in okay condition. So anyways, I kept on playing and transforming this figure until the arms started to break off. Same thing with the wheels. The other wheels, these parts broke off too. And if that wasn't enough, this figure split apart. The only positive thing I could give for this figure is that his automorph gimmick still works, but not the sound. It also happened to do this funny thing where it went like that, which was awesome for a battle damaged gimmick. But anyways, it wouldn't be until 2020 where I did in fact buy a replacement for this figure for 40 bucks. Oh, and that copy actually had the shoulder pads, the smokestacks, and this part wasn't cracked off. The replacement even has those missing gray parts for the arms. As much as I'm glad I got a replacement that works just fine, I'm still a little hurt by the fact that this figure broke on me. A little too many times, actually. I guess I was just very aggressive with transforming some of my Transformers. And then the second to the last broken Transformer that I have is the Dark of the Moon Jetwing Optimus Prime. This is the same one from that video where I attempted to fix this figure. If I remember correctly, I think I said I was going to do a part 2. Yeah, that never came. Basically, I found some replacement parts where I took this and this from this Leader Class Optimus Prime. This is the figure that I stripped apart a few pieces to slap onto this one, especially these two panels over here. But I do recall giving up when I saw this. I wasn't too happy about that. To show off some other Jetwing parts that I still have for this figure, I do have the jetpack, which is not only missing a part, but this also broke off. Anyways, here's the rest of the parts. Or at least most of them. But anyways, I did end up getting just a completely new replacement of the Jetwing Optimus Prime. And guess what? It turns out that same exact panel on the other copy is also a little cracked. Maybe not as bad as this one, but still, for the third time is just crazy. Yeah, I'm probably never buying one of these again. I'll take extra care of that replacement that I have. Till then, all of this will be put away and locked up for eternity. And then one more thing. I actually do have a TFP Beast Hunters Optimus Prime, which I believe is a Leader Class-ish Optimus. It should be, because this thing is big. Now, why is it broken? Well, the front grille pieces that do fold it onto the legs while transforming this guy from alt mode to robot did break off. Also, the dragon head cannons aren't at the greatest condition. And as far as I know, this is the only missile that I found. I am missing the rest, along with this figure's sword and shield. I don't know where they went. I do also have one of the dragon head cannons that aren't attached onto the slot because there is a needle missing for it. I don't know where it went, nor if I'll ever be able to find it. Also, I'm missing one of the shoulder pads. I didn't even know he had a shoulder pad for a shoulder pad. In case you're wondering if this little gimmick works. Barely. Sometimes that happens. Hold up, let me see something here. Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video where I showcase my broken Transformers. I hope it wasn't too painful looking at the Transformers that I've broken throughout the years. Again, maybe someday I'll get replacements for the broken figures that I haven't gotten a replacement figure of. But to be honest, that's not going to be for a while. I don't really feel like getting replacements anytime soon. But anyways, leave a comment down below what you think was the most broken Transformer that I showed. Also, be sure to leave a comment down below which one made you cry the most. And if you like what you saw in this video, be sure to slam that like button, share this with your friends as well, turn on post notifications so that way you don't miss another upload. Let me know how I did in this video, and most importantly, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching. Teo!